in the post part's quite painful. I'm thinking back to seeing like Adder on Turtle Troop play this quite extensively on Ascent even sort of last year. So definitely a tried and tested comp on both sides. Envy looking a little bit more classic here, but man, the gameplay on Sunset was anything but.
Yeah. And even if you're looking at composition for Envy, although it almost looks wacky because Extra is playing a Yoru, but not only that, you're playing double duelist. Remember, there's actually a team that borrowed this composition going to the VCTs, and that was actually Crew. And Crew Visa got some big victories over MIBR and Loud, but unfortunately got thrashed by Leviathan the more that the weeks went on. And this is why Core is going to pick into this, because it feels like they have a good read of how they could play against this, but not until now. The first... Really having a good time with Montif in China.
Oh, yeah, the homie. For sure. We go way back, actually. Okay, so pardon the technical issues there we experienced. Envy, though, lose Kane and Exeter at some point, and they lost this A side as well. Darkest gets in, which means that Deadlock Post Plant will be in effect.
The retake's not going to be the best. It's going to have to come down to just individual skills. Inspire and pop in, the wall's still up. They're just going to have to wait that out, and I feel like once they come through, we haven't really seen it yet, but I'm assuming the door is closed. Yeah, there you go. So great time wasted on the side here of Core, and in good position for this post plant.
Grab net thrown there. Poppin doesn't actually end up breaking the door, so it doesn't catch on. Inspire will obviously operate from top side here. We've got two players for Core in Hell, one on Gen, one in main. It's a standard setup, classic one, and hard to break, as is evidenced there. An important pistol round picked up for Core. They did the same at the start of Sunset, though, and they need a little bit more than that to give them an edge. But again, on the attack side, you're very happy with this.
Yeah, and it gives us a chance to talk a little bit about the core composition. You just talked about a double senti that was kind of used here by Turtle Troop in the past, just keeping a deadlock in place. But if you're also looking at the evolution of this map where the double senti is usually a vice instead of a deadlock, I do like that Core sticks with the deadlock because it helps for them to really go for these more aggressive splits thanks to that wall. And think about how much of value, the grab net's going to get on the defensive side as well. Envy did a good job disrespecting it at the very beginning because they understand this potential 1-3-1 skill that usually happens on the attack side with this comp, but the rest of it was very hard to take over. I don't know how it was hard because we missed all that action.
Yeah, we didn't see the round, folks. I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. On our end, we were looking at the low screen. Okay, Poppin gets himself one. He's on that B side. The gamble is towards A, even if Kane Zero was at some point considering actually just early rotating over to B. Might have been well served in doing so. So there's no defense spawn side pressure at all. So there should be pretty standard stuff. It is Ion with a Sheriff. Kane Zero is waiting, hoping for someone to cross. That's just not going to happen at this point. See how Dark Colors exchange. One is in main behind Alan, but he does not give a damn about that. Deals with Kane instantly.
Almost looks like there was a play, too, to try to paranoia here from Ion so they could double flood out from Kane and Xer's TP. But all of that greatly stopped by Alan's position. Although the share still gets value towards the end. So they are doing quite good to, keep the economy low. Yeah, we'll take that.
Last player standing.
All right, Sheriff gaming for Ion, but Nerf sees him coming and sends a couple of bullets through the wall first. So, a little more costly of an anti-eco round than Core would have liked, but they've maintained this outlaw, importantly. Envy, armed to the teeth now, ready to get their game finally underway.
I like that call, though, the Ion Sheriff.
I see. Yeah, because that's his name. And that's also... but
Sheriff.
It wasn't... Yeah, it could have been something.
It wasn't, but it could have been. If he used it, yeah. Oh, well.
I mean, honestly, I'm cool. That works for me. I managed to pick that up much quicker than your previous quip, so...
Thank you.
I'm improving. It's on me. Okay, well, Tuesday not expecting Exeter to turn up. Sweet serendipity that there happens to be a judge player chilling out in A main.
What's the third word?
You'll know when you hear it. I already know how I'm going to use it. I just don't want to blow below too early, if you know what I mean. All right, Exeter has to get out, pinged out, and has to gate crash away to the site. Kane, though, obviously with this pretty customary position set up in tree, Alum just walks into the line and is down. So 4 down to the 2 players that survived round 2. And they're going to hope to do the same here, but likely not by fighting at all.
And these are some of the small things that you kind of learn when you play against these type of compositions. For them to get so much value from the side of Envy, to instantly get the drop into A main. You look at these, how do you pop through the one-ways that are thrown into defense? Usually with a KO, you throw over that flash, the Omen could TP across. But if you're going to play with the Yoru, he's going to have to play close range to throw that smoke under that smoke. Throw the flash, sorry, under that smoke. So you could actually still pre-fire that shot and catch your opponents off guard. Although the Yoru was still moving up towards Catwalk instead, it still comes to the same value of what you're trying to do to prevent these type of early aggressions on the A main side. So a good read from Envy at the very beginning. Very punishing, as now Logan is looking to punish some Econ himself.
Oh no! Yeah, armor.
Yeah.
Armor is a hell of a thing. And the Outlaw eventually gets knocked from his grasp. Again, not super relevant on this next round anyway because of the full armors for most of Envy, but you got to try and make some use of it. I respect it. Envy get their foothold in this game, and honestly, they do it in style. I mean, I think that first kill was what, just like spray through the one-way.
That's
and
right.
the walk up at A main. I mean, Envy really have so many different looks for these early rounds.
Plan still comes down to be the same as I was mentioned before, just anticipating a Euro flash, but instead it's just a player walking up, and losing the spike that early into the round also just makes it much more difficult for Core to fight back as they are trying to do this towards B main now.
Nice setup with the grab net. Extra had nowhere to go. Poppin gets a ping, and Kane's able to play off of it now. It's still 2 players in B main, but no spike with them. So this is probably just saber rattling from Core. Maybe the insert of Alim will remain. There's a gate crash elsewhere.
I have the spike.
No, that's his trademark, excuse me. No gate crash active. So he'll pull out the old-fashioned way as well.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Just dry.
He didn't do that. I'm gonna
Time to
pretend
jump.
I didn't hear it.
Spike down mid.
Logan here waits, obviously getting into Cubby. Tuesday trying to get some info about mid, or rather it was Alam, pardon.
No charges left.
Big damage through the wall, down to 29. Still knows he kind of has to swing for this. At some point, Core have got to generate some momentum. Some edge. They are right now corralled into the middle of the map, and they are being stalled out. Smoke after smoke. Even Ion's going to go fishing, see what he can find. Looks like it's going to have to be A, which is, as you can see, canvassed by a lot of this
30
utility.
seconds left.
And because you've used so much util from Core at the very beginning, nothing gets burned here. Inspire could do some great damage from the trips that he just placed on the A site.
Okay, that's clear. Yeah, Alan was a low health player there. Logan has to hit that shot. That's the opt down. Core already starting to run out of steam there. A big investment in that round goes pretty badly awry, even after they get a good advantage in B main. It's traded out instantly by Kane, and the rest is history.
You're also seeing here how Core is working that map. Again, the difference why you're trying to leverage this deadlock instead of a vice, because you have a Gravnet for Darkest, and that's the new refreshable now since the last changes of deadlock. When you're playing a composition for Core that's fairly slow and that you're counting on your TPs to get value, if you don't have that anymore and you have no more gate crashes, at least you might still be able to stuff out some util with the net and try to push forward out of that. So despite it didn't work in that previous round, keep an eye on how Core could still work late rounds with even less util when Alim and Logan depletes their TPs.
Smoke anticipates in B main. Core have to do more than just hope for a walk up from Envy, even though it's more likely from them than another team.
Portal closed.
Kane's in mid.
Idiot cutting through.
Well, Logan has to serve something up eventually. He knows he's got to find a way in, and Kane, I don't think Nerve's expecting him to be pushed that far up, and Alan is dealt with on the right side. One more for the road, surely. Tuesday, though, in the background, is able to put that ghost to work. But it's easy come, easy go here for Envy. There's always another player ready to take up the stead of one of their aggressive individuals.
Down mid.
And here they come. Poppin ends the round as once more Core never got out of mid.
And that's the thing, you can't have that type of sunset play happen all over again, where Exer is walking up and getting picks, but if not on the defense, is just holding an angle and you're walking into it. Exer is not going to miss those moments. He's very clean on that shot, even though you have the Tilda Fuss on the other side here from Logan. Gets denied right away. And you go back to that fight. I mean, look at how much value he gets from the updraft. Spots 2 players out of the 3 remaining. It allows their teammates to congregate and looking to pinch back and to fight for that control into mid. You're not giving any space for core right now. I think the best value they've been getting on the attack too is for these full out sight hits around the deadlock util. But they have to be able to do so without losing so many players in the first place early in these rounds.
And this impulsive defense side play from Envy is it's just impossible to read. You can't do it. You can only have good reactions to it, good fundamentals, and be really strong under pressure. Like that, like the 2 kills in mid for Kane is one thing. The tailwind dash with Shorty is another. Like that is something that like you're not conditioned to expect. It's not something you run into in an average game unless you're queuing into him in ranked. So you can only really lean on your own fundamentals. Valorant's all about like playing the same positions you've played a bunch of times and being ready to react in certain situations. Envy just sort of denies you the ability to lean on that.
Yeah, but thankfully you're looking at this roster for the side of core. They are spamming a lot of ranked, a lot of pro cities too. So they do have experience playing against shenanigans.
Okay, this is decent. Hunter's Fury now. The problem is Darkest has already been taken down. Ion is given a stay of execution because he is covered by that dark cover on site. That breaks things up beautifully. And then Ion has a quick step to it, leaving Logan bereft of teammates. And honestly, the moments of strength from core have been pretty fugacious so far on this attack side. Here, one round, gone the next. And ever since Envy started to get decent weapons in their
10
hands,
seconds left.
it's been looking grim.
Yeah, looking to run away with it for sure. Here you're looking at how they're currently set up for Envy. It's nothing really out of the ordinary, with the exception of potentially Inspire always setting up here towards this A site because they could trust Extra with the operator on B. And if Extra needs to leave, well, you got util to stall and spray with Poppin playing over on that B site. And then great stalls on mid where King goes unpunished on middle as well. And look how confident they are moving into this round, Uber. They're actually even playing double op. They did op in an outlaw before, but they're just going all out against a lower buy from core. You could still go with an outlaw for Kane if you wanted to. And there you go. They think otherwise. Okay, they're just going to keep it on Kane.
Might also be concerned if it's like a fast hit, like a fast stinger based hit onto the side that overwhelmed and forces an early gate crash. 2 ops on retake, just it's a bit uncomfortable. There's always a one-way cage where Inspire is involved, either in market on Sunset or right here in B main. And so this has slowed core up. They've really had to tip their hand now, and Inspire just swings for just a fight. Raw sauce, no ketchup, as they say. And he has very little backup as well. No one's pinged out for him. Poppin a bit more passive. Can't say the same for Kane, though. Takes a big hit trying to drop down and take his shot. Poppin's ignoring the Aldrone as well. He's just desperate for core to give him something to shoot at.
Just trying to wall bang the person owl droning. I think he hit Logan in the process, so that's going to slow down core to re-hit towards his B main. So now they need all the cavalry with them.
It's so low.
All 5 of them have to go for a re-hit.
Yeah, but yeah, Kane has just rotated off this B side, expecting to be done because there's no way until this. I mean, Poppin has this recon here, but there's no way outside of that for them to like safely re-clear B main. They're a player down. I like this from Poppin though. Gravenet might miss him based on where he's standing. Yep, he's avoiding it. Nice shooting though, gets his first, but is that overwhelming? Talked about a potential for a stinger buy in this round. Didn't need 5 of them apparently. Just Allen's. Ion going to be here at the very least. TPing into the side to fight from Boathouse, and the shorty goes boom. That's 2. And that'll at least give Envy a decent chance to get back in this. Allen, just great threat assessment there, realizing that that second player was a clone. And so Kane is at 19. And honestly, sort of running out of lifelines here.
Good positions too for the post plant. This op's gonna be hard to deal to retake with. I think he's just looking for the damage.
Yeah, we talked about how that would be why double op would not be ideal in this scenario. Core are not incentivized to give too much here. They also know Kane was low, so Tuesday had the confidence to swing out and take a body shot and take this game to a 1-round affair. Already 3 attack side rounds for Core. That's also going to give you some degree of confidence. But Poppin was 9K coming into this round, so obviously the economy not really concerned for Team Envy.
Maybe tried to play that round with 2 layers. It almost looked like it was an overzealous swing coming out, or overzealous, sorry, swing coming out from Inspire, but they're trying to leverage the bait from the drone going high while he has a camera to see where the players are positioned, trying to break that drone and get ready for that. So he swings, but then unfortunately misses the shot. And then you still had a high-low where the op didn't get value from Kane Zira, and that just opened up the door here for Core to overtake that B site the way that it did. So a little bit of luck on the side of Core when these shots are missing, but you'll take full advantage of that. And they definitely have the firepower that it takes here to hold the post plant.
Kane on a bit of an off angle. Slight adjustments. Sees that dart come in though and just waits the scans out inside the dark cover. I don't think Dark has got far enough around the corner to light him on the map. Flash up mid. Alum turns up. And Kane gets traded out through the wall. So at least Core had something set up. This Odin now being revealed to them. So that's one way to cheese out that first pick. And now you've got access through mid. Envy is split 2 and 2 across the map.
This is the tough part. Now you don't have any space creation agent on the side of Core, and you have an op on the side of Logan. They do need to regroup now for Core so they could leverage the util left behind by Darkest. Annihilation, wall for spawn, net in a certain area, but they're once again walk into a full trip setup where Inspire reads it perfectly for a B-side hit.
If they can pull the Cypher here, though, this Annihilation will be devastating. Darkest has it lined up. Hoping to bounce it. Obviously creates a lot of space with it. Poppin. Okay, avoids it. Still knows how to find something with the Odin there. Taken down, though, is Logan and Darkest in quick succession. X is going to be the first out of the site with the Dimensional Drift. He's going to see what the setup looks like. Core don't have themselves settled quite yet, but that paranoia, should pave the way for an easy first kill, and he does. Now you've got an Odin player that's got to watch 2 separate angles. Virtually impossible situation for Nerve to win out in. Quick response there from Envy. Get to this B side while they're split 2 and 2 across the map after losing their mid presence.
And I respect that Poppin just turns tails to run towards that back of the site. Yeah. He really wants to bait the Annihilation for his side because you just talked about it. If the Annihilation does get the Cypher in the back of spawn, the hole was already fully down. So he, on top of that, he misses the Annihilation. Poppin stays alive, and then Envy already rotated across because you still have a gate crash and also an ult from Exter. Beautiful combination and teamwork in the end from both Ion and Exter to win that 2v2. And Core now needs this timeout. I mean, they got some value, Mitch, at the very beginning with Nerve's Odin, but holding that pulse plant towards the end with what was still available here for the side of Envy was fairly difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, by the same token, you see the Dimensional Drift got committed in that round by Exter, so something had to be wagered here by Envy. Kane has the money for a proper rifle, but is currently with a Bucky, so we'll see what that ends up. I think what I'm looking at is that there's another huge investment in this round. Not all of Core can buy, but Nerve and Logan have taken the Odin and Operator up respectively. So maybe hoping again to play off Nerve hoping to play off his own util, or at least those spam kills into mid might require Kane to adjust his approach to this round a little bit. That's probably a fair way of putting it. But again, defense side op, always powerful here. Core really digging deep to try and, again, give them like a more convincing attack side. Get to 5 rounds here, and I think you're pretty happy, especially with the pistol round breaks in your favor.
Agreed, especially with this comp. Kane's probably going to go with the Blade Storm, which is why he's having this Bucky, but this timeout potentially is trying to find something in the hands of a limb. They are 1 pip away of getting a Dimensional Drift. They're not leading towards this B side first. But Envy are understanding that Core are playing the map quite slowly. So Poppin's going to stay towards that back of the spawn, see where he could help out with the Hunter's Fury himself. And as they realize there's no pressure starting on the A side Gelato, as they had a full setup to try to stop that. So now Core having to force to manipulate these positions that Envy are currently in.
This is so aggressive for Ion positioned like this in 3 here. Closed out first one was a clone. Hunter's Fury comes out now as well. Is this enough information for Poppin to actually strike a lethal blow? There's no confirmation on any of those Hunter's Fury bolts. So still a strong concentration of Core players towards tree side of the map. Ion has been able to fall back, taking a much more passive slant on this. And Alum wants to try and chase it in there. Big damage on Exter. He has to gate crash out to a pretty obvious location, but Kane's getting active here in A main. Oh, buddy, he could have had that shot. Instead, tries to set up for his Heaven player. It looks like Kane might just have to do it himself. Poppin gets there. Nerve gets pinged out. Darkest is low. Oh, Nerve does well to fight his way out of the situation. And Poppin goes down to 10. Aldrone over the top. No ping, no Poppin.
Oh, my.
I guess unaware. There's a swing to his right. But this is good for Inspire. Lots of information. As Logan has to make a decision.
30 seconds left.
Does he go up to the Heaven side or try and play door to get this spike back? too low, needs to try and take a fight. And I back Inspire in that situation, especially with a health lead.
That round, Envy played like there were still rankers. The individual prowess coming out of every single one of these players was insane. The stall coming out from Exter and the continuous TPs also creating the diversion so that Kane Zero could come out for all of these kills that he's gone. But you saw how Poppin, under pressure, still decides, and while he's dinked at 10 HP, still decides to drone up to find the information on two players, swing on one, and get a headshot for a 140. So that Inspire could win a 1 versus 2 in the end. Dude, this is insane looking at this team. They're just way too good.
Shock Dart found purchase on Darkest and Logan. And Inspire is waiting to clean up the scraps. Oh, buddy, just as cool. Hoping to get a bit of breathing room. Inspire says, man, I'm closest where I like to take these fights. You know that. Bam. Kane into main, and that is the dirtiest of flawless rounds I've seen in a hot minute. Envy get their customary 7 rounds on defense side. Absolutely immovable on A.
Yeah, Lim couldn't even get a shorty kill when he TP'd close to close that gap, trying to count the, hopefully timing while he catches Inspire on a reload. Look at this. The second kill now goes on a reload. Clip comes right back out, and he even has a cage to get the audio cue, knowing that Lim was turned around the corner. This is just so nice. I mean, it was a lower buy round that you had for Core, and now they're investing into another op. Dimensional Drift and Hunter's Fury. You could expect this type of combo to open up the B site.
Free information and informed decisions for Nerve in terms of where he turns that Sova ultimate. Interesting little double swing setup in Cubby right now, though, for Envy. Not going to see any action. Not for now. Like you mentioned, Vans, Core have been working the map relatively slowly. Now, okay, the Jet is spotted, but Iron is still inserted on that part of the map. Does cross mid, though, and head straight to B. So something's tipped Kane Zero off. Maybe the Aldrone as well, being heard inside main. Sets him over in that direction, but he's not convinced. Now, though, the hit comes on towards the B site. Inspire with a cage to play through. Here's that Hunter's Fury now coming out. There's going to be a tap on Poppin. No, he actually avoids. Still Kane with the Blade Storm goes to work. Nerve, though, finds him. Tucked into the corner in Boathouse he's dealt with, but Inspire, once again, is up in your face. And before you know it, your brains are on the wall behind you. Now it's an Odin and an Op to try and get into the site. Those two are quickly wrested from the hands of Core, and they're looking down the barrel of a 3-round attack site.
Last round.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they spotted where the Jet was. They also got the information from Envy side where Core was kind of leaning at the beginning because of how deep and inserted the Owl Drone was trying to clear out the B site. So eventually it'll have to come back to a late hit back into the B site that was expected here on the side of Envy. And Poppin stayed alive in the back, but what was really helping him stay alive was, once again, those trap setups, the trips by Inspire. I think they got 2 kills out of that. Then you just saw how Kane Zero got free reign with the Blade Storm. Last round of the half, Core still trying to get, I mean, you talked about 5 rounds that was needed. You don't get it. Now they're just hoping for that single one.
Yeah.
Make it at 4 here.
Info. Actually,
sorry, the zoom into your kind of made me lose my words.
It does throw you. I get it.
It's deep in my soul.
I actually did see a little bit of B main, but didn't end up pushing as far forward as I thought he would. He actually gate crashed up to Heaven's side, so very well established for a push onto A. No information here for Envy. They do not know what the movements of Core are supposed to be right now. Smoke gets straight into tree. So that is the clone that is on the wrong side of that. Aldrone to follow it up here. Ion trying to juke it out and then TP onto A. They want to anchor this if they can, but the Gravnet is going to make that an impossibility for the Omen. He's about to be inundated with bodies from the Core side, but Inspire's ready, as he always seems to be. Chimes on in, and it's on Logan here with nothing but a Guardian. Flashed out, smacked down. That's an Envy half for you folks. Another flawless round to end at 9 defense side rounds. Very solid. Now, do they have the breadth of variation on their attack side that we saw on Sunset?
Let's win and get out of here.
I definitely think so. But dude, they won that last round, 150 HP across the board, even when On got netted. And you just talked about how they're so good at working off each other when it comes down to these hectic moments. He stays netted. They have players in the back spraying through the smoke from the top, a crossfire setup even from the A site. They really are able to work in unison to really lock down every single lane that Core was trying to do. You're hoping here that the double senti and also the chamber from Logan, big responsibility on his shoulders right now, solo anchoring the B site. You're hoping that these shots will land.
Really pinged out. No time to get away. No. Oh, that's heartbreaking for Core. They needed a foothold on that B side of the map, and unbeknownst to Envy, it's completely open now. I think Inspire's probably just radioed that over to Envy, considering he's seen the entirety of the rest of Core. Off to the side we go.
Cover going
There is, of course, a gate crashed. Yoru there, and Alum finds 3 for the round so far. Everywhere at once. And it was some nice damage on Exeter. He's basically claimed this round for himself. Tough to win from here on out for Envy, as Ion will have to go the 1v2. Only a classic. Ghost, rather, now acquired. Enough bullets here to make it rain.
Shadows traveling.
I think we slightly trolled there on the side of Envy. I think Ion's paranoia hit like 3 of his teammates going in.
Yes. And I don't think it actually hit the one Core player that was still on the side at that point, unfortunately.
Nope.
And a double stack here. 3 players on Core side, not 2. Correction. So even harder for Ion to win in that situation. So that is both pistol rounds in this map 1 for Core on the favored side now. Have to be ready for anything from this Envy team, but at least this next round should be a little bit more stately.
Especially when Envy wasn't able to get the plant down towards that B side, so you're not going to allow yourself to go for a stinger buy on that second round. So staying as a group, not really looking like they're looking for any type of early B orb control, because I feel that when Logan got popped the way that he did in that previous round, you don't really want to try to go for that type of play again. So you're going to leverage a recon dart on the defense to get the early info.
Barrier deployed.
And we just grab that orb. So
Decent feeling
very
for-
simple stuff.
Decent feeling for the wall timing there. Logan only comes up with a clone, which is always going to be a pretty unsatisfying experience, but okay, that's
down
information. Spike goes loose. Kane with the Bucky, and no way to actually get it into its effective range. So they're pulling out of that A side of the map.
Still go back towards this B site here to pick up the orb for Exeter. It seems like it might be the play. A bit of a drone view. But yeah, things as you mentioned here, Uber, at the beginning of this round, looking quite easy for Core to capitalize on this second. That smoke, unfortunately, I think missed here, so Kane cannot find the sneak. And that was probably the biggest win con for him to sneak through, and this should solidify the round now for Core. And we still haven't had a chance to really muster up or figure out what Envy is going to try to do on their attack side, but you talked about it from that previous round.
30
Really good
seconds
for
left.
mid splits, walk up contact with kills, utilizing utility off of each other to actually win some rounds. But right now, all of them quite isolated, just trying to get some picks.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, if Sunset's anything to go by, there should be a ton of different looks in front here.
One enemy
Guys got
remaining.
enough time to put it together on a set. They will be farmed, though, for now. Alum takes 4 kills out of the seal clubbing round, and off we go to round number 15.
That's a big round to activate there for Alim. That's 4 kills, dimensional drift to allow the retake 2. And while Exeter is still 2 pips away after farming the 2 orbs and dying on the previous round. So Core in a pretty decent position here to be able to convert a bonus. If you're looking at it from the full classic round that we just saw from Envy, they don't have the best of buys. Stinger still for Poppin and a half shield for Ion, so the outlaw could still be quite decent to carry over for their bonus for Core.
Yeah, pretty relevant. Who's he here? Actually pinged out in the end, so all thrown up, but no opportunity there to chase down the Omen. Would have been a big scalp to take, of course. That controller off the map early is pretty big. Kane inside a grab net. Trying to return fire through this smoke. Now pinged up with a recon ball. That's a little bit more nerve-wracking, I'd imagine. Exeter's already been felled here by... Oh my goodness, Darkness is going to work. Stinger inside tree.
Last player
Barks
standing.
eventually goes down, but job done, 100%. Ion now, again, in an all too familiar 1 versus 3.
Lisa's on site with weapon upgrades.
I have the spike.
Might just even let him plant.
Planted.
And Core to allow for that to happen. They've got a main presence now, though, as Alum walked the long way around. Ion doesn't really have anywhere to go. He could try and, nestle here inside Hells. Probably his best chance. Hope for a double drop down. And stay out of the purview of the Yoru, who is waiting Now, Logan is the one with the outlaw, so it's a headhunter for him for the time being. And there's that all too annoying smoke. Iron trying to make sure he can isolate as many of these players as possible, but Logan took a jump across, spotted out. There's a tap. Alan might just straight get it to half here, and he does. Nerve waiting above. Solid fundamentals. These are grindy rounds from Core, but whatever the hell Darkus did inside trees, what gets them there?
Yeah, that's the grav net that he started at the beginning. So first the wall, so he forces Envy to break it down so he identifies how many players are there. Then from the grav net, people are trying to escape and uncover themselves, and the recon gets a lot of value from spawn. And then there's just enough delay so that when the smoke dissipates, it's just free reign for Darkus to get kills from the door. And when you looked at it from that pressure of on a 1 versus 3, there was no real wide swings coming through from Alan. He was continuously jiggling for A main because the smoke actually missed. There was still a gap that would allow for him to see Iron cross over on the other side of Hell. And because that happened, that the gap was still there, he pinged it out to say, look, he's got to play around the generator area or back of left side Hell, which allowed for them to just get the perfect timing, 3-2-1, and then ensure for them to win that round. So again, great stalls coming through A to Z from Core, and just a great adaptation to not falter under pressure despite them losing a 9-3 half. And converting this mode is huge. You're forcing out the timeout now for Envy, and you have a lot of money to work with to start here to snowball your defensive rounds.
Yeah, obviously they are unable to convert the bonus in the first half, and the next round doesn't come until round 7. So this is very good, and it's going to go a long way towards making up the deficit. It's also probably harder for Envy to be unpredictable on this attack side, where they're the ones that have to set the pace anyway. It's tough to break conditioning when you are already expected to be running at your opponents. And that outlaw still remains at large for Alan. Many viable targets for one-shots. So I get the B main shunt here. Pop it. Okay, well, that's the the outlaw player down. Weapon not recovered just yet. But the dark cover is hearing a lot of what's going on here. Clone also shot. Nerve out of the overwhelmed here. Kane gets in there with a bucky. All of a sudden, Envy looking to produce a bit of a thrifty, a bit of a classic round as Logan gets clipped by the edge of that paranoia, briefly nearsighted. And Ion will wait likely for this smoke to go as well. Quickly across the map, Tuzi trying to get there, but we already have a spike plant. Bruh, that's rough.
That's a save. That's a save.
Kane is not about it. Darkus also catnipped back over towards the site.
He has no choice.
Be done here. Nice little clean up there. Okay. Followed up in the dink. But there are some rifles now in the hands of Envy. And that's that. It's Tuesday will be sitting over here at the A side, and that will be Envy getting to 10 rounds. And this was a very limited buy. I think it was a stinger there, a couple classics, and that bucky for Kane Zero. All of those getting purchased. Kane are almost up to 20 kills here. And yep, about as dirty as it gets for a thrifty from Envy.
You kind of overextended your stay here for a limb. You just talked about the outlaw available, but you also had, I was going to mention the dimensional drift too, to keep the retake, but it gets immediately sprayed, and then it really keeps the players out stranded in the back of the B site. They just did a nice double dive from both Kane Zero and Eggster. So much good value coming out of the Yoru clone on top of that to allow Envy to convert, where this should have been potentially even four consecutive rounds for Corona defense.
Still a good economic foundation developed by Core in this half, so it's an op buy up again for Logan. Yeah, after this though, things start to get a little more strung out. Uncharacteristically slow are Envy in this early round, respecting the one-way. Not showing any presence elsewhere.
And it's weak towards A side here.
Here's the D-drift. Next does pop the Omen here on the side. Easily done. Pops straight out. And the Bucky, rather, the judge goes to work. Gonna have a deadlock set up straight towards top side here. Darkus is already on Heaven. And it's a speculative annihilation that will capture Kane Zero. He's alive! He's alive, barely, but he's still in the game. Alan here now trying to make good on his performances earlier in the game. A dimensional drift of his own has been earned, and the numbers are even now. Eggster takes a straight challenge up on the Heaven side. It's Nerve, though, who cleans him up. Kane's looking for somebody to feed this shorty to. And it's not a target-rich environment for him right now. Alan will emerge for the dimensional drift inside Hell. That's heard. Take him note of. Core's able to spray and came back. And bear in mind, no spike plant yet. Nerve has been controlling the pace of things so far. And Inspire is trying to draw his last player out of hiding.
Spike planted.
On either side of Jen. Nerve's going to have to be quick with it, and he's not. Tries to crouch into it, but Inspire wins a pivotal round. That definitely feels like an inflection point in this game. Envy go up to 11. Remember, already a map in their back pocket. They're sailing towards an upper final.
And I was just about to praise, too, that if the round was won there on the side of Core, it was all thanks to Darkest. Because that double dive that they got from Kane and Yoru from the side of Envy to open up the site was huge. But he throws a wall once again right into A main, and it doesn't allow the spike carrier to get through. He delays, gets one with the annihilation, evens it up on potentially a 2 versus 2, but then in the end, it's still Envy that converts. Just not enough heads up play from the side of Core when they're trying to retake that side. At least this time, though, they're able to start with a man advantage.
Blade Storm, Kane hoping to dig Tuzi out, but it's Extra that finds him yet again. Good quick response, though, just as NVR mid-execute. They get at them from tree. Kane uses the smoke to its full effect. Gets up on Nerve and doesn't give him a chance to work with it. Door broken down. Kane backs away here. Blade Storm still in play. And not needed as Darkest is handled by Ion, leaving Alum again with it all to do.
Now that was an Envy round again, just playing and fighting around the smoke. Alum just got spotted. Alum is down.
And that was the force from Core. Vance, it's looking grim indeed. Darks the Nerve, Alum all brought down to 0. So that's about it. On the Envy side, they're chilling. They get everything they want. They've also got a Hunter's Fury in this round. Just how good can Nerve be with his own silver ultimate? Core need a lifeline. They need to stay afloat.
Tuzi only had 50 credits to his name too, so only brings a stinger into this round. And yeah, this has to be some sort of or a Hail Mary play with the Hunter's Fury to try to catch them, but nope, it's otherwise. Thinking that Envy is going to try to play it slow. They could trust the util once again of Darkness of trying to stall as much as he could for this A site.
We may well be in the last moments of this upper final. Envy once again looking to cement their dominance at the top of NA Challengers and get into that best of 5 final with a map pick advantage, or at least getting to band 2 first. Darkest sees this coming now. Got that early info and is able to throw a grab net down. This will slow things up a little bit and allows Nerve to get inspired and get another great Hunter's Fury from Nerve. And that's a good start. So the weaponry's looking a little bit rough with 2 stingers in the fold. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll pretend we didn't see that one. I don't think he quite landed the plane on that approach into the A site. I think he just gate crashed up in there and instantly had nothing to do. Kane. Say it ain't so. I think he's seen the head of Tuzi there and just ducks back so Darkest can't finish him off. He's going to come for him, and it is about a Kane. No respect, not a care in the world. 3 kills for the Jet. That's opened this round right back up for Envy. And they're far from committed as well in terms of a side, but Ion is deep in B already. Poppin is just trying to be a bit more meticulous on the approach.
Because they don't know where Logan's at. And Logan's in a prime position here with 20 seconds left. But now the door closes. Now you can move into the site for a plant.
He's got to show himself. He still doesn't want to. He doesn't want to break the door. So instead, maybe like set up to get 2 players in through spawn side and then maybe split onto this B side. They know it can't be through market this push comes from. The smoke in B main, they now have a good idea exactly where Core are going to come from unless they push their own smoke. Less likely. One at a time they step up and one at a time they fall. Envy have done it. Finding themselves in the grand final here. In Challengers Stage 3. Looking incredible, looking back to form, and honestly making Core look a little foolish in some of these rounds.
Yeah, definitely.